Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
A St. Louis police officer nearly loses his life in the line of duty in the career he thought he'd have forever. What comes next isn't about what he lost, it's about what he chose to do. In tonight's Making a Difference report, how the former officer found a new way to serve the people who serve us.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Built Different podcast.
The badge is gone. The calling isn't.
We're changing it up a little bit today.
Here in a small studio in St. Louis County, former city police officer Colin Ledbetter is back on duty, just serving in a different way.
It takes a lot out of you, and you.
Now, instead of a radio, he's got a podcast called Built Different, giving first responders something they rarely get: time to talk.
You got to worry about not only yourself, you got to worry about them because they don't know anything.
The police uniform anywhere nowadays is immediate trigger factor.
My ultimate goal as a police officer is to leave somebody in a better spot than I find them.
Long before he sat behind a microphone, there was a kid from Vandalia, Illinois, who didn't just want to serve, he wanted to make it count.
I wanted to do the most. If I was going to do this job, I wanted to be able to do the most.
He joined the Army National Guard, then the St. Louis Police Department, hitting the streets in the 6th District, where calls come fast and danger comes faster. And on January 26, 2022, it all came at once. Colin and his partner, Officer Nathan Spees, were chasing a homicide suspect when both were shot. A bullet severed Colin's femoral artery. He flatlined. Doctors say he needed nearly 3 times the blood in a human body just to stay alive. Weeks later, when he finally left the hospital, the city he nearly died protecting was waiting. And on his way home, they drove him past police headquarters and the new soccer stadium that was still going up.
I remember seeing all the cops and everything lined up out there, but the thing that really got me was when I turned around to get back in my car, all the workers that were working on that stadium turned around and clapped as well.
He survived, but his career didn't.
I was 25 years old, and I don't know who I am now, basically.
Thanks for coming.
So the officer who once answered everyone else's emergencies had to figure out his own.
I'm going to have you squeeze on that a couple more times.
Blood drives came first, paying forward the gift that saved his life. But something was missing. He missed the people who understood him best.
I felt that disconnect from the community, law enforcement, just first responder community. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I really love to give back somehow.
That somehow became Built Different, produced with Trueline Media Group, where first responders who never talk finally do.
When you come home and you're just feeling like super heavy, I don't know if I can share this with you, having that already planned out can really help.
It's a show about first responders, a side of them that you don't always get to see. And it's a conversation that people enjoy watching.
For Colin, it's part mission, part medicine.
I think it's therapeutic for me, but it's also therapeutic for them. They get to share their story, and everyone's got a story, especially in this line of work. Hanging out with friends outside of the department.
He can't ride in a squad car anymore, so he's driving something different, a conversation.
It brightens me up a little bit. These types of guys are not used to being in the limelight. It's not all glamorous.
Colin Ledbetter, a cop who almost lost his voice forever, has a new chapter, making sure the people still answering the call finally get the last word.
I hope you learned something today about me or about the podcast.
And if you're looking for the podcast Built Different, it is available on YouTube. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know by email at mbush@ksdk.com.